All right, now it's my pleasure to invite up our speaker for today. And I know him kind of well. Today our speaker is Mr. Dennis Alstrand. Let's welcome him.
How you doing, everybody? Yeah, right. Good to see you guys. But before I start, I want to say that I got a call yesterday from Reverend Beverly, and she took ill and tested herself for COVID and came out positive. And I say that because this gives us a good opportunity, those of us who know her, because she may be watching online live right now. So we can all wave and say, "Get well, Rev Bev, here you go." So on the phone, I said, "What's the topic for, going to be for this week?" Because there's a different topic every week. And she goes, "It's me, myself, and I." And I went, okay. Because I am not a person that I talk about, right? If you know me, you probably haven't heard me say much about myself or my life or anything. Not that I'm covering anything. I just don't talk about myself. Because I don't think I'm all that interesting, and I'll try to prove it right now. See, there it is. I'm going to pick someone out of the audience. I'm going to ask the year they were born, and I'll tell them or you who was in the baseball World Series that year, who won, and all that kind of stuff. Joaquin, what year were you born?
1953.
1953. Let me give you a little background on that. In 1941, 47, 49, and 51, and 52, not 51, 52, the Dodgers and the Yankees played each other in the World Series. The Yankees won every time. In 1953 was going to be the Dodgers' big year, but no, the Yankees won yet again. So 1953, Dodgers and Yankees, and win 7 games. I could see eyes glazing over like, yeah, right, who cares? You got a wealth of knowledge there, son. A lot of real useful knowledge, because you never know when that's going to come up in a party. By the way, had you picked 55, or I would say that was the first year the Dodgers ever finally won. They beat the Yankees. Anyway. Okay, so here's from CSL. The relationship we have with ourselves is the foundation upon which all other relationships are formed. Which do we choose, self-love or self-hatred? Which do we choose, self-worth or invalidation of self? Our invitation today is to learn how to love ourselves and to practice this deeper, fuller, more complete embodiment of love. And here's a one-sentence affirmation: the universe loving itself is expressed as self-love. So Science of Mind states that what we know of ourselves and our relationship with others becomes law into life. And I think that's an absolute truth. What we think about ourselves, how we treat others, becomes our law into life. If we think we suck, guess what? We suck. But if we turn that around, we think, maybe I'm all right, then that's what you are. And that's what you become to the world as well. Because what about ourselves? How do we treat ourselves? How do we treat each aspect of ourselves? Because we're all so much more than one aspect, right? We're not just one-dimensional beings. We're parents, or we're children, or we're siblings, we're artists, we're lawyers, we're whatever we are. We got so many aspects of what we do. But the question that comes to me as I go through this, I'll be doing it mostly first person because that's how we have to do it. But the question is, how do we treat each aspect? How do I treat each aspect of myself? I need to take care of each aspect of what I am, body and mind. Body and spiritual mind have to take care of all of these aspects of me. And we've often heard the body referred to as the temple of God, as in Corinthians 6:19 and 20. Or do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit within you, whom you have from God? So, folks, I got to take care of my body. I've got to take care of my spiritual mind. What we choose, this is an interesting aspect to me, what we choose to think about ourselves, not only in like general, not even hour to hour, but almost second to second, makes a huge difference about how we get through the world and work with other people. And I'll give you a couple of examples. For example, yesterday Sandy and I were at Safeway shopping. She's pushing the cart around, everything's just going fine. And I got to say that to me, when you're shopping, it's kind of important not to be standing right in the middle of the aisle with a cart and no one can get around you, right? Everyone must feel that way. But I take it too far. I take it as not only should I not be in the middle of the aisle with a cart, but I don't want to be in anyone's way at all. I take it too far. Sandy's got the cart, everything's going fine. She goes, hey, can you push this for a second? At that moment, there was a guy right there trying to get through where she put the cart to me. So I'm trying to get the cart out of the way, and there's someone else trying to get another cart over here. It took 1 second for this to happen because of what I believe is going to happen to me. Same thing would happen at Walmart. I'll be standing there like waiting for her in the corner of the aisle. Someone will come around and I'll go, oh, sir, I'll get out of your way. Oh, now I'm in your way, now I'm in your way. I go, I'm never going to do this again. I don't care if I'm in people's way, but I can't do that. It's just not me. What Sandy said, I go, it never happens to you. Why is that? She goes, it's because I don't worry about it. I don't get it. I learned a big lesson yesterday. Let's see if it works. Here's another example of how I used to be and how I changed and how it works. You're in the right lane of a 2-lane highway. There's a light up some ways ahead. You want to get into that left lane, but there's a lot of traffic. I used to go, oh, people are going to not let me in. They're not going to let me in. And guess what? It happened every time. They would not let me in. And one day I went, you know what? I got this. I'm getting in that left lane. I won't knock anyone out of the way, but I'm getting over there. And ever since there's an opening. I just get in. What we choose to think about ourselves and what we're about to do matters, not in general, second by second. So these little things that I have and these little things that we all have become truths. All right. I got a big question. I'll ask it of myself, and I wonder if you all can ask it of yourselves too. How much do we allow what society thinks of us? How much do we allow that to affect our lives? Do we completely accept it, or do we not? And I'll tell you why I'm asking this question, because I'm a white American, complete with all the privileges. Ask anyone who's not a white American what they think about white America, and you're not going to get a good answer. White Americans, we did it all. We took from everybody. We took from Native Americans. We enslaved African Americans. White Americans took land from the Mexicans. We came over to Hawaii, we took land here. We did it all. What a popular group we white Americans are. Also, I'm male, which hasn't been real popular these last couple of weeks, thanks to a certain Supreme Court ruling. I'm straight, which may not be popular with gay people with potential upcoming Supreme Court rulings. Who knows? I was privileged enough to work until I retired. So I'm all these things that everyone hates. Society hates, anyway. All these things, and sometimes I wish I could change who I am. Sometimes I think, wouldn't it be nice to be something else and I could do the stone throwing, that kind of thing? So yesterday, as I was getting ready for this talk today, I asked myself, I said, I'm just getting to know myself again, just to do this. And I asked myself, if you could be someone else, okay, if you don't like being white, male, straight, all this stuff, American, what would you like to be? Just give me an immediate answer, and this is what I came up with. It was like immediate. I want to be a black musician in the 1950s, living in Chicago. Well, it was cool. I want to be part of that hard-edge rhythm and blues that black musicians played. Not the poppy stuff from Motown later or whatever. That hard driving stuff from the 50s. I want to be in that. I love the hairstyles, even the processed hair. I love it. I love the black glasses, the whole thing. I love it all. What would I be? I would be in a band in Chicago, going to play a gig, doing jump blues. That's what I would be. And we'd be driving along, and I'd get someone in the car, the rest of the band getting in the car, and they go, "How you doing?" I'd be going, "Let me introduce you to my Rocket 88. Man, she's straight, just won't wait. Everybody loves my Rocket 88. Give me a hit on that joint." Man, that's some good stuff. Blowing around a little bit. Holy shit. There's red flashing lights in the mirror. My fantasy just became real. Being a black man in the 50s or even now, being pulled over is not a fun thing. So maybe my fantasy's not that great after all. Maybe I got to learn to accept me, who I am. I can't really worry about what society thinks or I would go crazy. But what I do and I can be and am concerned about is what I think about myself, how I present myself to society and to other people. And to do it the way I think is right, I need a healthy mind. I need to stop the inner put-downs. And I have all the same stories everyone here does, just my version of them. Like when I did that thing at the start about the World Series, I doubt anyone really cared, but someday that baseball knowledge will come in handy, that kind of thing. I need to take care of all aspects of myself. So to get ready for this talk yesterday, I walked with myself, hung out with myself for a while. And I knew I had to check in with me, and this is something that I'm going to invite everyone to do in a bit too. I don't like talking about myself, I don't like bragging about myself, but here's some things I found out just by hanging out with myself yesterday. So I'm hanging out with myself, and I'm going, hey, this guy is an all right guy. I already knew that, but he's a good man. He's a good friend. He's definitely shy about people he doesn't know that well. When he was working, he was the kind of guy you would want working for you. He was focused, he was a hard worker. This guy can play the shit out of the piano and the bass, guitar, but not so much. Not after listening to Dennis playing. Anyway, he runs a large delegation of Special Olympic athletes, a very large delegation, wrapping these athletes with care and love. They're in a good place. This guy knows Beatles history with the best of them. He has had 2 books published about them. And sometimes, not often, but sometimes when he looks in the mirror, he thinks, hey, the guy looks all right. He's immensely proud of being married to the woman for 30 years now? And we get along really well. I'm very proud of that. He has a select circle of fantastic people called friends and family, a very cool son named Paul, who he's very proud of. And so I have a challenge for you this week. Hang out with yourself. Take some time. Unless you're one of those perfect people who has total great feelings about yourself, no problems at all, you totally know yourself, you're the greatest person that ever lived, okay, you probably wouldn't be here. But do this with yourself. Really do it, because maybe there's some things about yourself you could brush up on. Maybe you haven't really thought about some of the cool stuff that you are, some of the cool stuff that you do. Maybe take yourself out to dinner. Allow yourself to talk about yourself, and this was hard for me. Notice all the things yourself does. Tell this person you're proud of at least one aspect of them. And hard as it is maybe to do, I really suggest you do it. It was very cool for me to do yesterday. I felt good about it. And to get this thing rolling, I'm going to ask some people, of course I did set this up in advance, this was contrived, but I'm going to ask some people one aspect they're proud of themselves. I'm going to start with Lissa. Hi. Tell me something about yourself that if you were to go meet yourself, you'd go, this is all right. She ought to be proud of that.
Wicked proud to be clean and sober.
Being clean and sober. All right, all right. We're all proud of you. Reverend Kathy. There you are over there. What's something that if you were to meet yourself and get to know yourself, you'd think, she ought to be proud of this?
I'm proud that in my 50s I had the courage to leave a pretty lucrative career as a teaching consultant and pursue ministry. And I'm really proud that I made it through 20 years and lived to tell it.
All right, all right. Let's head all the way to the back with the man who's got the voice to carry. Ray Ryan, tell me about yourself.
I am very proud, I guess, of my intellect.
All right. Thank you. So take this journey with yourself, and if while you're hanging out with yourself, those old voices start coming in, you were no good at this stuff, go. You're not welcome at this dinner, pal. Stand aside. Like I said, it really worked for me. I needed to be ready. I needed to do it to be ready to stand here today and talk about myself without going, shucks, folks, ain't nothing. I got a couple quotes I want to end with. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me for a little bit. From Ernest Holmes, a book he wrote called The Thing Called You, and a lot of us had a class that we went through with this book. This is Ernest Holmes. You are made perfect in the law when you enter into conscious communion with the love. Love is the fulfillment of the law. That is, it is only through love that the law can fulfill itself in your experience. Because love harmonizes everything, flows through everything. You can never make the most perfect use of the law of your life unless that use is motivated by love. And second, my mom's favorite singer was Eartha Kitt. Anyone remember her? Eartha Kitt? Few? Just a couple? She wraps this thing up better than I could ever do, so I'll leave it with her. It's all about falling in love with yourself and sharing that love with someone who appreciates you. Sharing it with someone who appreciates you rather than looking for love to compensate for a self-love deficit. If you all could do one last thing with me, just give me a reverend. Reverend! Thank you, folks.